Asked, what was your role in the investigation into Abby and Libby's disappearance and murder when you were superintendent of the Indiana State Police for 4 years? And he said, well, I was there as support, which seems to really understate it. I mean, he did press conferences. He was the guy out front and in the press conference. He didn't look to me like somebody who was just support. And
there's this notion that this is cold. It's not cold. This is not going to be cold. I'm not sure where that comes from. So as those tips continue to come in, we'll continue to work them the very, very best that we can. We'll bring detectives in from all the posts around Indiana that I'm responsible for. We will continue to manage those tips, and when we're all done, we're going to start all over. To the killer, who may be in this room, we believe you are hiding in plain sight. We likely have interviewed you or someone close to you. We know that this is about power to you. And you want to know what we know. And one day, you will.
He was asked, okay, well, what agencies were involved? And he named some county ones. He said, and federal agencies. He said, let's focus in on that. Which federal agencies? And he mentioned ATF, the U.S. Marshals, and the FBI. One of the things we have heard repeated hints about is a turf war between law enforcement within the state of Indiana and the FBI. So the FBI got kicked out. And the defense says that's created a bunch of problems. What that has meant is that there hasn't been a firm, full investigation into what the FBI would have been able to know.
Carter was asked by Allen's defense attorney about the decision to kick the FBI off the case. This was back in August of 2021 that Carter said he made the decision to relieve the agency of its involvement in the investigation and made them return all the materials they had gathered. The prosecution did not cross-examine Carter, and he was off the stand in less than 10 minutes. It still remains unclear tonight why Carter made that decision.
FBI out. So, as an example, the FBI was doing interviews, and those pretty much got discarded. The FBI believed, it appears, some of the theories about Odinism, was at least considering them, some of the theories around multiple people being involved. And when they were kicked out, that meant that those theories got a lot less credence. The one question they really got out of him was, when was the FBI no longer involved? And he said 2021. He said, would you like to refresh your recollection with your deposition, which he's done before? And all the extra he got was August of the exact same year. So that was it. That's the only fact that came out. At that point, the prosecution called a sidebar. Nothing. That all fell into nowhere. And then they came back and that was it. The prosecution wanted to head off some kind of question. And they must have successfully done that, because all that happened when he came back was, here's a letter from the FBI where you ask them, and he asked him to affirm the contents. It was really just like a nothing. And it had to have been something more that was going on that got ruled out by the judge. That has to have been what happened in that sidebar. They were going to ask some additional questions, maybe about why the FBI got tossed, or maybe about what the FBI was responsible for and what couldn't happen because of the fact that the FBI was out and they weren't getting their help anymore. But whatever it was, it didn't actually take place.